Howdy gamers, old gamer guy here. If you ever wonder why it takes me so damn long to get through one game of Stellaris, or why I never seem to get better at Stellaris, it's because I play a lot of games. And here's another game that I've been waiting for, Crusader Kings 3. I started to make a video out of the tutorial, which takes place over there in Ireland, that green area on the left, but I decided instead to make a video starting in East Anglia, because I believe that my family name originates in this area. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later, but right now let's talk about the game, shall we? Clearly I'm doing the most important thing first, and I'm customizing my character to make him look a little bit more like me. This guy is in no way related to me, as far as I know. But the next thing we'll do is get him a wife. And I might as well mention right away in this video that if you are looking for somebody who knows what they're doing with this game, you may want to watch another video, because I played the tutorial and then I played one game starting as this guy and died within an hour. And then I started this game and I'm making this video. So don't watch this or listen to this thinking you're going to get some great beginning strategies, because you most definitely will not. I'm finding a spouse now for my brother. This king did not start out with any children, so his younger brother is the player heir at the very beginning of the game. And I chose to play this guy, by the way. You can choose any ruler from anywhere on the map, and there are also some preset scenarios. But I chose this guy for the reasons I was talking about before. But yeah, I was searching for spouses right there, but you can go much more in depth, and you probably should go much more in depth with your search than I just did. I was basically searching according to opinion and where they're from. So I got myself a nice French girl, and I picked for my brother a nice Saxon lady. So yeah, so we got that going for us. Mail order brides incoming. But look at this, right at the very beginning of the game, playing as this king, I am already at war with Ivar the Boneless. The sons of Lothbrok are trying to invade. So this is amazing, and this actually does tie in with my family name story, and I'll try to get to more of that as we go along here. But yeah, we're starting off at war. When you play the tutorial, you start in Southern Ireland, and you eventually choose to go to war, but you're not at war with anybody at the beginning. I'm looking at menus to create men-at-arms regiments, but I don't have the money to do it. And I'm thinking about whether I should try to sail up and attack Ivar, but I'm not actually sure where he is at this moment. I think as we're looking at this video, but I didn't know. It said that this war has been going on for 2 years already. So I thought, surely he's either about to show up or will show up soon. And I'm thinking, we're part of England, so what does that mean? How many of the English realms will help us? And then looking at the map, it turns out Ivar is based up here. So I would have to embark some troops and sail over there and attack, and in the meantime they might show up here. So I thought, I'm just going to wait on them. And here is an acceptance of our marriage proposal. I think that was my marriage proposal, yeah. And then here is the one for my brother. So both marriage proposals were accepted, so that's good news. Here we go. It's already time for the wedding, and I could impose a tax to help pay for this party, but I'm going to let my subjects enjoy the festivities without worry or care, because that's the kind of king I want to be. I don't know if that's the kind of king this guy naturally is, and you really should play according to the character's strengths, I imagine. But yeah, you're going to see a little bit later, you're going to see me choose a lifestyle, and it will go against the bonus that he would normally have in a different lifestyle. But never mind that, because troops from Ivar the Boneless have landed, and we've got our army, and some friendly armies have joined us. I must admit that the combat is not the most exciting thing to watch, but you can see the colors changing on the bar down there at the bottom of the screen. That's very similar to Stellaris. So we won that battle, but we are still fighting. You can see messages popping up there in the lower right hand corner. One of my counselors had his head ripped off, so that's unfortunate. I haven't even looked at my council yet, and I should have done that already also. That's another huge mistake that I have made in this video so far. So yeah, I don't know if I mentioned this, but this is raw footage. There are very few edits in this video, and when they happen, you will know it, because I made it very obvious. I just kind of wanted to show what the beginning of a game looks like and the kind of things that can happen, and just to give you a basic idea of what the game is all about, and maybe whether you want to buy it or not. So some more of Ivar's troops have landed, and they are attacking the city down here. But my army and the AI friendlies are doing a decent job of defending. So somebody's helping me. I'm not even really sure who it is that's helping me, but some other kingdoms are helping. In the first game I played, I got through this part just fine, but something happens a little bit later into the game, and I guess it happens every time you play. Something happens that I made a different decision about. But here we are back at the men-at-arms regiments, and I've got some gold because I've collected some taxes, and I'm adding some bowmen and some light footmen. So now when I raise my army the next time, well, I don't know how this works. I'm not sure if they will automatically join, or if they won't join until I raise armies again. And you actually disband your armies between wars, which is kind of interesting. It makes sense, though. I'm a big fan of the Last Kingdom books and Netflix series, and they talk about how those armies are gathered and then disbanded. But never mind that. My bishop has received a significant donation of gold from the estate of a wealthy but childless landholder. And so he can either give some of it to me, I could demand all of it, or I could tell him to give all of it to the poor in my name. I ended up taking just some of it because we are at war after all, and we just spent a bunch of gold hiring those bowmen and light footmen, creating those regiments. So I considered each option, and if you keep the cursor hovered over the option, you'll see that eventually a little window will pop up and tell you what the consequences are for each thing. But never mind that, my brother has been grievously wounded, and we need to send for a physician. But oh no, another thing I have not done. I have not found a court physician. So I don't have a court physician, but I sent out for some, and two showed up. One who is experienced but expensive. The other one is enthusiastic but cheap. And I could say, no, I don't want to hire either of these people, but it is my brother, so I'm going to hire the expensive one. And we have different options on what we can do as far as treatment. Be cautious. Do no more than what is necessary. The time has come for drastic measures. There will be no treatment, or I could leave the choice up to my brother. And I think I went with drastic measures because he's my brother. And I would like to have him saved if I can. But, oh man, you can tell his face is messed up though, just in the picture there. And, well, he died. So none of it worked. And now I could have this doctor arrested. I could forgive her. I could just say she deserves to die. Or I could basically threaten her and say, you know, this will not happen. Do you understand me? You know, I'm not blaming you, but let's step it up, right? And I think I went with that top choice just because I don't have more gold to hire another doctor. So yeah, we're just gonna stick with her, and hopefully she'll do a better job from now on. So I was able to bring up a menu there that was giving me some alerts. You know, you haven't done this, you haven't done that. I should have looked at that earlier, but it reminded me that I had not chosen a lifestyle. This guy naturally would go into the intrigue lifestyle because he has some sort of training that would, he has intrigue education. The first time I played this, he had a martial education, and I felt like that is what I would want to go with, you know, especially for this war. But in the long run, I just like the idea of getting my experience that way and then choosing my perks, because you do eventually start to unlock perks. And I'm not going to go very much, I'm not going to look at those trees very much, but you got a glimpse there of the perk trees. We've got a couple of, or one powerful vassal who wants to be on the council. He has a low opinion of me, but that's mainly because he wants to be on the council and I haven't put him on the council. But this guy, for some reason, reminds me of Ramsay Bolton from the Game of Thrones, and so I don't trust this guy. I feel like he's slimy. I don't know. But I am starting a scheme to sway his opinion more in my favor. And normally that would play out for a while, but eventually you're going to see that I do something else. I'm actually going to appoint him to the council here in a moment. But I'm just looking at my options to see who I can appoint, because I have a vacancy at steward and I have a vacancy at chancellor. So I'm looking at all these other people, and everybody else on the council right now likes me. I should be looking further. They have traits and things that could make them better or worse at their job. And so I really should look at those menus further, but I did not in this game. I thought about appointing this guy to the court, but he is described as an irrational conciliator. So I'm not going to appoint him to anything. But down here we have my uncle. And he is rational. So he would be good at something, I would guess. And he's unmarried. So I thought about it here for a minute. And then I decided to recruit him to court. I could grant him a title also. But I'm going to recruit him to court, and then I can appoint him to one of these vacant positions, or I could give them I could give one of these other people the boot if I wanted to. But I'm going to make my uncle the chancellor, and then I'm going to go ahead and make against my better judgment, I'm going to make Ramsay Bolton my steward. What could go wrong? But right now, as I'm watching this footage and recording this voiceover, I'm wondering what these flashing red areas on the screen mean over here. Are those red flags saying, don't consider this guy for anything important because He has these traits. I'll have to remember to take a look at that. There's a lot of stuff in these menus that I am not showing you, and there are a lot of subtle things going on that we're not even seeing in this video, so I apologize for that. But I am enjoying this game a lot, and hopefully it's fun to watch as well. My new wife has a trait of chaste, and so I'm starting a romance scheme. When I gave Ramsay Bolton the steward job, all of a sudden his opinion of me went way up. So I didn't need that scheme anymore for him. You can only have one scheme at a time at the beginning of the game. So I'm trying to romance my new wife here. I'm kind of a half-ass musician myself, so I've written some half-ass songs. And so I thought about secretly planting a letter in her chambers, but I thought, no, my relative would have written a poem. So I wrote the poem, sent her the poem. She sent a reply that was not entirely encouraging, but also not entirely discouraging. So I'm not giving up. The scheme to romance her will continue, and that will take some time. Different things are going to happen through this video. You'll see how that progresses. But back to my family name for a second. I actually do have Scandinavian DNA. And like I said, I think my family name came from this area. And this area was in control of the Danes for a long time. The sons of Canute controlled this area. And Canute is actually a character in The Last Kingdom. And I don't know, there is a Canute in the Vikings TV show also, but I don't think that's the same Canute because he dies almost immediately. But yeah, just that's another reason why I'm kind of fascinated with games like this and books about that stuff. But the war is ongoing, and I'm thinking about sailing my people up there. There are also battles going on elsewhere. But I feel like I should just stay here and protect my land. There are still other friendly armies helping out in this war, and I'm still actually not sure who they belong to, but I know eventually King Alfred of Wessex gets involved and starts to help. And King Alfred is another character from The Last Kingdom. And there actually was a King Alfred, of course. But historically, he had the ambition to unite all of the kingdoms of England into one kingdom. And it didn't actually happen in his lifetime, but I'm going to assume that that is also the ambition of this character in the game. And I feel like he's probably a good person to befriend, so eventually I did notice that his people were helping us out, and so after this war is over, you're going to see that I make a move to be friendly with Alfred. But never mind that, it's time for more romance. My wife makes a remark that she wished she had somebody to keep her company, and so my character thinks, I wonder if she's a cat person or a dog person. So I could give her a cat or a dog, but if I make the wrong guess, then she will lose opinion of me. But the third option is to say, "Fear not, I will always be by your side." And that's the safe choice. You gain her some good opinion from her, and that is the object of my scheme, to romance her. Our troops have won another battle, apparently in Sherwood Forest. And we're getting kind of far away from home base, so I'm going to get back over here. I really should have probably attacked that holding and recaptured it, but I didn't do that. I was looking out for my own. Okay, here we have another romantic event. The guy I've been calling Ramsay Bolton, his name is actually Reeve Athelwine, and he's kind of a jerk, and he insults my wife. She hears him, so I demand an apology, and actually she gains opinion of me, and he does too. He gained some respect for me that way, so that was a good a good way to go. I could have challenged him to a duel, or I could have just privately gone to her and said, don't listen to him. But I demanded an apology, and I got an apology from him. My wife. Oh, look at that! One of our holdings has now been captured. We're gonna get that back, but apparently not right now because our army is being defeated. So I've decided to write another poem about her, apparently. And I have a choice of what I can write about. And again, if you guess wrong and she does not like the subject of your poem, you lose some opinion from her. I think I went with charming demeanor, but it was not the right choice. And she wrote me a poem that appears to be sort of mocking the sensible Edmund. She talks about sniffing my breeches so she can know if I'm warm or if I'm like a corpse. I mean, come on. She's clearly making fun of me. But that's all right. I'll take it. It's all part of the plan. Or is it? I don't know, but I'm going to take it. We have raised another army. And we have a friendly army down there trying to win that little town back for us. So here's another romantic event. Apparently I was trying to go see her in her chambers, and there was a noise and somebody was climbing up the tower or something. And so I could call for the guards. I could just turn back around, go back to my chamber, or I could say, "My treasure is in danger. I must save her." And I must admit that my first instinct was to think that she was cheating on me with somebody. But I decided to say my treasure is in danger and I must save her, just to keep this romance scheme going. And so I run into the chamber, and there's blood on the ground and a dead body, but she is standing over the dead body with a knife. But she does appreciate the fact that I ran in and tried to save her. So I could ask her for a kiss, or I could say, "I will never let you out of my sight again." And so now it says my glory is widely known. I gained some reputation from that. But look, you can see more of my realm here has been captured by Ivar's people, I think. There's actually another Viking, Halfdan, who is my next door neighbor. He has territory to the north. And in the first game, when I was playing through this war, he was also attacking me, but I haven't seen him during this game. So we recaptured one little town. Apparently the Scots have risen and declared themselves separate from the rest of England. And my character is wondering whether they will thrive. And look at this. My wife is pregnant. So I cannot wait to hold the babe in my arms. And the baby also. That too. So let's see if we can recapture this territory here. We've got some help at the siege of Cambridge. My son has been born. You can choose different types of names. I'm going to name him after an ancestor. May you grow to be strong and wise, my son. But unfortunately, at the same time, my uncle made a stupid move as Chancellor, and officially acknowledged Jarl Halfdan's claim to the earldom of Cambridgeshire. So that's not good. My Chancellor messed up and acknowledged a claim from a Viking or a Dane. That's another interesting thing you learn if you read those books about Vikings and Danes. And did they even use the word Viking? Let's see. Duke Antso of Gascoigne has announced to the world that he and his vassals have converted to another religion. And so I could choose to say, they do have some good points. Or I could say, what twisted mockery of our faith is this? And I'm going to do that second thing. I'm not really a religious guy myself, but this character is. So I'm going to play in character at least a little bit. Now, the very heartlands of Western Christianity are under siege by infidels. So the Pope is declaring his intention to forging a righteous alliance and wiping out the infidels. So he's telling us that that's going to be a request that's going to be made. And we'll have the option of sending troops or just sending some money. And I just sent some money because we've got a war going on here. We need our troops. So I'm not just going to leave. But I did contribute some money to the cause. Yeah, here we go. The Pope wants troops. So I could send them. But I could send some money also. And in the other game that I played, I sent troops. And then the Vikings attacked again. And that definitely led to my downfall. So this time I'm just sending some money. But big decisions being made. So a lot's happening during this war. We've kind of recaptured most of our territory. And now we're helping to recapture some territory for King Alfred. And there it is. The son of Ragnar, Ivar the Boneless, has admitted defeat. We gained some prestige and some gold, I think. And now I thought about sending my army back up here, but then I remembered in the tutorial it tells you to disband your army after every war. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So there's an obvious edit. And here I am. This is really just a little while later, but I must have gotten up to go to the bathroom or something. But I decided that it was a good thing to be friendly with King Alfred. So I am going to offer him my son, my new son, as a ward. I had to think about this. You can tell I wasn't sure, but I decided to go ahead and do it. He should be one of the more powerful kings in England. So I hope my son will be safe. There are schemes to murder people, though. When I played this game before, the one I talked about where I was playing as this same guy and I died within an hour, my son also died within that hour because somebody murdered him. I never did find out who that was. I'm going to make the Bishop of Wessex the guardian of the kid just because King Alfred's wife, what is her name? I forget her name. She's also a character in The Last Kingdom, but she's kind of a domineering woman. She's a domineering woman to everybody but Alfred in the show and in the books. Who knows what she was really like in real life, but never mind that, because checking out this other kingdom, this queen, she was helping us in the war, but it turns out that she is the concubine of Ivar the Boneless. So what do you know about that? That should be some big news throughout the kingdom, I would think. But she is a queen of Mercia, and she is the concubine of Ivar the Boneless. And then up here we have our other neighbor. He is running this realm of Jorvik, and that is Halfdan. Halfdan White Shirt. I think there was a Halfdan in Vikings. I can't remember if he had a nickname of White Shirt, but definitely a Dane. So there was another edit there, and here is another menu that will give you hints if you don't really know what to do next. You can kind of get some hints from the game. And if you remember, we captured somebody during the war, so I can ransom that guy back to Ivar for some gold. We had an alert that our number of knights was kind of low, so we probably lost a few during the war, so I'm going to send the herald out with an invitation for the knights of the surrounding realms to gather. I'm also going to invite some claimants. In order to extend my realm, I must have valid claims on foreign land, but luckily there are many claimants who would be willing to become vassals in return for military support. So, just for the hell of it, I'm going to send the herald. And I could also go on a pilgrimage, but I don't think I'm down for that at the moment. Hosting a feast, however, sounds like a great idea. We just got out of a war. I'm married. I've got a new son who has been sent to be a ward with a prominent king elsewhere, you know, so I think a feast is in order. Let us make merry. So let's get this party started. And the guests are gathered in the great hall. The mood is bright, spirits are high as the feast begins. Welcome, friends. And King Alfred has accepted the proposed education arrangement for my son. And oddly enough, I seem to have struck up a conversation with Reeve Athelwine, or Ramsay Bolton, and he's interested in my opinion on tax levels. He's fascinated by the subject, and I could tell him that I am, or I could not care less. I went ahead and told him that I'm interested as well. But never mind that, because disaster has struck. All of our wine has gone bad. The feast is still going on. There's a wine merchant in town, but I don't have enough gold. So I have to swallow my pride and ask everybody to pitch in. And so that's what I did. And it resulted in a good party. And he gives credit to his wife. So, you know, happy wife, happy life. But on that note, I'm going to go ahead and end this video. Hopefully you have gotten an idea of what this game is all about. There is a ton of stuff I did not show you here. So I could make more videos or not. Just kind of let me know what you think. But for now, as always, thanks very much for watching.